Well, the Yankees' backs are against the wall, so will they show us anything in Game 4? We'll find out.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to win $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. With me as usual, my co-host Brian McKeon. If I can get my cursor over there. There we go. What an experience for you at your first World Series game, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing to go. Pre-game, it was as good as any game I've ever been to, atmosphere-wise, fan engagement-wise, like legitimately, it was. I mean, I give Yankee fans a lot of flack, a lot of the time for the type of fan base they are. Can't argue with the way they acted last night. I mean, Yankee fans were terrific. I mean, they were the building was packed from like a half hour to an hour before the game even started, before the festivities even started, like that early. I mean, people were in the stadium, and usually that's not the case. Usually people are scrambling in last minute. That's not what happened. Just team didn't show up. That's it. Team didn't show up.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. We're gaining a lot of subscribers now that they're losing, so I mean, it's bad for us mentally, but it's good for the channel. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. So we'll be previewing Game 4, which could be the last game of the season for the Yankees. We're going to talk about how the pitching hasn't really let them down. Because what's been letting them down? The hitting. So let's get into that, because the Yankees were terrible, horrible, no good, very bad until the ninth inning. And even then they weren't that great, but at least they scored 2 runs. So let's discuss it. You were there. Tell us what it looked like to you.
Clark Schmidt wasn't great. Definitely could have been better. I mean, gonna be honest with you, it was kind of a gutless performance out of him. I mean, we needed a lot more out of Clark Schmidt. However, the bullpen's been fantastic. Weirdly enough, in game 2 and 3, Tim Hill came in and dominated, but whatever, let's ignore that. The bullpen's been great. Like, honestly, Mark Leiter Jr., great. Nestor was even really good at in the bullpen last night. It's a moot point, but I can't remotely understand. It's just another thing to add on to the bullet point list of reasons why the manager is just clueless, a buffoon. Why Luke Weaver was being brought in a 4-0 game with 1 out in the ninth made, complete. Let's give the facing Ohtani. Let's give the Dodgers' best hitters another chance to see your closer, because if in the absolute no chance at all that you make this a series and come back, they're not gonna have to see Luke Weaver ever again, right? That was the dumb. Just putting in Luke Weaver for the sake of putting in Luke Weaver was what was going on there. Made no sense at all. Let's use all of our high leverage guys in a 4-0 game. So that made no sense. The pitching has not been the problem though. Like, the bullpen's been great, and we thought that could be an issue. It hasn't been.
The only problem with the pitching is, aside from Cole, the starters not lasting long enough.
No, but they also haven't had the blow up start. Like Rodon only gave up, what was it, 4 runs?
Well, that's the thing.
4 runs. They haven't gotten murdered though. Like, there's no 8-run performances. There's no 7 earned. Yeah, that's not happening either. They're not giving you the blank that you need, but they're not hitting. They made Walker Buehler look like an ace, and Walker Buehler hasn't been good in 2 years. I mean, they are not hitting. They're getting contributions from some guys. I mean, Stan hit last night. Stan was really good. Soto had some good at bats. He wasn't, didn't have a home run or anything like that, but he had some good at bats. Glaber had good at bats. Glaber was dying for a walk in that ninth inning. He did not want to swing the bat at all.
He should have not struck out, but let's not discuss that, because I will have a heart attack. But talking about hitting, this came up this morning, and the way people are making it sound, observers are making it sound, is as if the Dodgers are killing the Yankees, but not exactly, because they're only hitting .213. Their difference is they have more extra base hits, which in a World Series, when you have pitching that's pitching well, it does a lot to help your team to hit extra base hits. So it's interesting to see, that, like you said, there have been no blowouts on either end. In the Dodgers-Mets series, there were blowouts on both ends where both pitching staffs got creamed in games back to back to back. Like, that's how it was going every other game.
Yeah.
And this series has been completely different. Again, it could have been a completely different series if Friday night goes differently. Because if they're down 2-1 now, you're just thinking, all right, just win the next two, get it back to LA, and try to win 2 in LA. It's not the easiest road ahead of you, but
you could debate if they're down 2-1 right now, they're still in a good position to win the series, because you get the Dodgers in a bullpen game later on tonight. And then, and you've now seen their bullpen. You've seen everyone in their bullpen multiple times at this point. So you better have the film and the recognition to face them.
Maybe swing. I don't know.
Yeah. And then the next game you get Cole. So like you could legitimately make the point that the Yankees actually would be in a not favored, because they'd be down in the series, but they'd be in a decent spot.
Yeah.
And instead, that's why it goes to show, though, in these games, every little pitch means something, because you lose one game and it changes the entire outcome of the series. Again, you even felt different about last night. Not everyone's not on eggshells last night. If they come out and it's a 1-1 game, if it's a 1-1 series, you're not worried. It's little things, right? It's Freeman hitting a home run in the first inning when the crowd is ready to blow the roof off the place, and he just quiets everybody down. You can hear a pin drop. You can't allow that home run there. And I don't want to sit here and blame specific pitches, because guys miss locations. It happens. But I'm sorry, with a 1-2 count against Freddie Freeman and only one man on base and he's on first base and it's Shohei who's not going to be diving on any bases, you can't be throwing a fastball inside to a guy who creams fastballs inside.
Well, who was behind the plate calling that pitch?
Yeah, with Torino, that was your change to the lineup. That was your change.
Let's bring that up. We spoke about it on the pregame show yesterday, that we were joking that he wouldn't deviate from what he's been doing. And then the one thing he does is the one thing he doesn't really need to do, because
Even that move was the wrong move.
Austin Wells' defense and his game calling is more valuable than Trevino.
Yeah.
So I don't care if Austin Wells goes over 1,000 in a World Series. His presence behind the plate and his defense behind the plate is so much more valuable than Trevino right now at this moment. And of all the moves that you're going to make, you're making that one.
Yeah, that's the move. You made yourself worse in the field, and you didn't necessarily. And I can see the move happening too if Trevino, if it was the same level of defensive ability where Wells is here and Trevino's here, but Trevino's hitting like 2011 Yadier Molina. Okay, but he's not. Right. He's hitting so bad that you pinch hit Austin Wells for him in the 7th inning.
Right.
And that makes no sense. Clearly, I don't know. This is double fold, one or two things. I don't know what it is. And you guys that are watching the show right now, if they bring this guy back, you're gonna want to tune in the summertime to when they announce this, because me and Stacey are both collectively gonna have a meltdown on this show. Where does the loyalty to Alex Verdugo come from?
I don't get it.
He's on a 1-year walk deal. There were multiple opportunities, even at the end of this game. You're down 4-0, to put Dominguez in just to provide a spark to the team, right? Like just a new guy in the lineup. If he gets on, you get things rolling. Who knows? There were multiple opportunities, and they just keep trotting out Alex Verdugo. I don't understand. And then to make things worse, he hits that home run in the 9th inning, which it was almost a slap in the face.
Right.
Like, of course, that's the guy to do it. Like, that's the guy to hit the meaningless timed home run.
Yeah, it's like, oh, great, they're not going to be shut out in this game. Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
and the
closer than it actually was.
And the jackwagon pimps it, does the bat flip and walks slowly to first base. Dude, you're down 4-2 and there's 2 outs in the 9th inning. You're about to go down 3-0 in the World Series. Is there a worse time to pimp a home run?
But I don't understand the loyalty. No. I'm, we're going to talk about Aaron Judge because I'm really getting sick of him right now. You need to get fired up, dude. You can't be in your post game. Like, I don't expect him to call people out, but at least call yourself out in a way, and don't be like, oh yeah, no, we knew it was going to be a dog fight, and we just got to take it one game at a time. You're down to your last game, dude. It's your last game. What are we waiting for? It's right in front of us. Yeah, the end of the season is literally right in front of you, because at the end of tonight, you will probably be watching the Dodgers celebrating a World Series on your field because you couldn't do anything. And if we find out that this guy is injured, because something has to be wrong, he can't be this bad.
Yeah, I'd
He
agree with
can't
you.
be this bad.
It's starting to feel that way. This is worse than any slump we've ever seen him in.
No,
Because even when he's in slumps, he usually works the count, gets a walk. I'll tell you this: the walk that he had in the eighth inning last night, you could hear around the entire stadium. You really could. They were ready to boo him if he struck out. And I'm not a proponent of booing Yankee players. I don't like it. I think it's, especially when it's Giancarlo Stanton on opening day when he goes 0 for 4, but on opening day Yankee Stadium, but 3 days earlier in Toronto he had 2 home runs.
Right.
I'm not a fan of that at all. I don't like it at all.
Mm-hmm.
He would have deserved every boo imaginable in that spot. He's hitting under 100 in the World Series.
It's and his postseason numbers are
awful.
Horrible now. They're awful now. There's been enough of a sample size for this to not just be.
It's 50 at bats.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's really bad.
You can't have it. And yeah, I'd agree with you. Even the comments after the game around the whole team are bothering me, not just with Judge. I mean, Nestor gave you they had the best record in baseball all year. They're obviously a really good team. So you can't compete with them? What was that comment about? Like, so you don't think you should be competing with them? This loss is okay because
so you should just roll over. Yeah, it's perfectly acceptable for you to get swept in the World Series because they were the better team. This team is gutless. They're gutless, and they're gutless because of their manager. I'm sick and tired of it. I said it on. Listen, wait, hold on. I said it on last night's show. My little rant that I had. 2018, they're embarrassed by the Red Sox. 2019, okay, they make it to the ALCS, but they get walked off on. Okay, so Jose Altuve hits a walk-off to end a series. There's an embarrassing way to lose a series. 2020, was it Brousseau who hit that home run off Chapman that you saw coming a mile away? Yeah, good job there, Boone. 2021, you put Garrett Cole in the wild card game against the Red Sox when he has a bum hamstring, and what happens? He pitches horribly and they lose. 2022, they get swept out of the ALCS. How this man got an extension and how he wasn't fired after that ALCS is beyond me. If he's not fired after this, then the Yankees don't care about winning. They're just giving us platitudes. They're just saying they want to win, but they don't want to win. This guy does not motivate these players. And I know they're all adults. They don't need to. Yes, they do. They need a manager to motivate them because their captain certainly isn't motivating them. Rizzo's pregame talk didn't help them at all. I don't understand these guys. And they're not as bad as they're playing. This is what drives me absolutely crazy because you see it all the time. People leave the Yankees and they miraculously get better.
Yep. Because this manager is a player's manager, which everyone wants nowadays. But a player's manager means that, you're out at the club at 3 a.m. the night before a game. That's what it means because he's not going to bother you. Yeah, exactly.
You might as well give them pacifiers and pat them on the back and say, poor baby, okay, you're okay. That's basically what a player's manager is.
You need a father figure. You need a leader like you do. You need a Mr.
You need a leader. That's exactly it. Let's move this to because we're running long here. Sure. So we'll move this discussion to the next segment. But don't forget, we're both fired up. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. Also, join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to the games. We send out lineups, roster moves, breaking news, so you don't have to check social media. And when there's Fan Mail Friday, which there could be this Friday because the Yankees, if they get swept, we might as well do a Fan Mail Friday. You get top priority when you ask questions for Fan Mail Friday. There's a 14-day free trial. All right, coming up next, more about this horrendous performance by the Yankees offense.
Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all available in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch, and make every moment more with FanDuel. It's the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And don't forget that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Stacey, 2011, 2015, 2018, 2000, and this year? What do all those years have in common?
I don't know.
Yankees watched another team celebrate on their home field.
Oh,
There have been more celebrations that have happened on the Yankees' home field since the new stadium opened than the Yankees have had themselves.
Nice.
There has been more champagne sprayed in the road locker room than there has been in the home locker room. I can't come up with the excuses anymore. I saw someone put a comment in there saying that Dave Roberts is a player's manager, and he is. Two factors here. One, the Dodgers don't stop spending money like the Yankees should. The Dodgers do what a big market leader of Major League Baseball does. They get Mookie Betts on a $300 million deal. They keep cutting Kershaw every single year. They go get Freddie Freeman. This all does go back to a few off seasons ago when the Yankees were trying to go on the cheap when
they get Tyler Glass
aisle.
now. They get Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, they keep upgrading.
Yeah, they upgrade, and they develop these guys who, like, some of these guys that, as Yankee fans, we sometimes don't pay attention to the NL until we need to, but sometimes we do, But Max Muncy, they're just guys. They play for the Dodgers, and they become these
Gavin
almost
Lux.
like mythical guys where you're like, where did this guy come from? Because he's
Gavin
not a
Lux.
Shohei Ohtani, but in the
Walker
playoffs,
Buehler.
these guys come out of nowhere, and it's just
they
the
make the
Yankees
trade.
don't do that anymore.
They make the trade for Mookie Betts. They know what prospects. The big prospect they gave up in that trade was Jeter Downs, who is currently working at a ShopRite somewhere in Pennsylvania. He's out of the league. That was what they did. They went out and they got Yamamoto. They got Glasnow. They got Ohtani. They got Freeman. That
They
offseason.
traded for Flaherty when the Yankees wouldn't.
Yep. That offseason when Freeman was available, the Yankees decided we'll keep Anthony Rizzo, who is an aging player, older, and doesn't have the power that Freddie Freeman has.
When you think of all the players that the Yankees have passed up in the last 5-6 years, right?
There's two of them that come to mind. That
Bryce Harper.
Yep, there you go.
And Freddie Freeman. Yes.
Yep.
Every time I think of Bryce Harper, every time I see him hit a home run in Citizens Bank Park, a piece of my heart dies.
Yep.
Because I think of him hitting them in Yankee Stadium and how great it could have been to see him do that. Same thing with Freddie Freeman. I was like, wouldn't that have been great if Freddie Freeman hit that home run with a white uniform with pinstripes on instead of the Dodger road grays?
Freddie Freeman makes $3 million more per year than Anthony Rizzo. They are completely different players at this point in their career.
He's playing on one leg.
Anthony Rizzo is 4 years older than Freddie Freeman.
He's playing on one leg.
And Freddie Freeman got a very generous deal from the Dodgers. And yes, listen, if the Yankees were involved with Freddie Freeman, and I'm a full believer with professional athletes, there are a very, 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 very finite select few who will take far less money to go play where they want to play. Right. I know Freddie Freeman wanted to be in LA. I get it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you offered Freddie Freeman significantly more money to play in the Bronx, he would have went to the Bronx. There's a very, very, very few amount of athletes who care that little about the money at a certain point. I'm not saying $1 million more.
Oh, yeah.
Yankees have the ability
significant amount.
Yankees have the ability to blow Freddie Freeman out of the water, though.
Sure.
They do. And the Dodgers that offseason were strapped for cash, couldn't offer him a big deal. That's why they only gave him a 5-year deal for about $21 million a year. The Yankees could have easily given him a 5-year deal for $25 million a year and then watch him turn it down. He wouldn't have. To be the first baseman of the Yankees. But the problem is, they could have acquired Freddie Freeman. They could have, and they didn't. They chose not to go after him. They shopped on the clearance aisle and brought Anthony Rizzo back. And I like Anthony Rizzo, and he's had a really good postseason. But they shopped on the clearance aisle and chose to bring Anthony Rizzo back. The Bryce Harper offseason, I know you went after Stanton, but at the end of the day, and Yankee fans refuse to acknowledge this, and the Yankees refuse to acknowledge this because they want you to believe that his salary is higher than it actually is. Stanton counts for $22 million against the luxury tax. You know who counts for more than that? Carlos Rodon, Garrett Cole, all guys that were signed after Stanton was brought here. That they could have easily fit another $22 million, more than $22 million under the luxury tax. Stacey, do you know what Bryce Harper's contract is for the Phillies? What that counts as a luxury tax? $25 million per year.
So it's only $3
million per year. And my point is, I'm not saying not to acquire Giancarlo Stanton. I thought they had no option but to acquire Giancarlo Stanton. I think that move was the correct move because I'm sorry, when any team in baseball says, we will eat $9 million per year off this contract. And all we want, and this is the NL MVP who just hit 59 home runs. You have the Rookie of the Year who just hit 50-plus home runs. You just lost in Game 7 of the ALCS. We will eat $9 million, and all we want is Starlin Castro. Brian Cashman had no other option but to make that move. Any GM in baseball would have made that move.
Right.
So I hate the people that say, they should have got Harper instead of Stanton. Anyone offered that deal would have made that deal. Here's my problem.
Because at the time, it was the right. It really was the right move because, as you said, they were on the way up. No one expected the Yankees to make it to Game 7 of the ALCS. No one expected them to beat Cleveland in the first round with the way they went down the first 2 games. But they did that. You get rid of Girardi. You bring in a manager who's never managed before. That's the move. Mm-hmm. That's the move right there. That started this awful brand of baseball ball rolling. That's the move right there. You get a guy, oh, he's a baseball guy. Great. I'm a baseball person. That doesn't mean I can manage.
Yep. They ignored Manny Machado, who clearly wanted to be here. They ignored Manny Machado, who is still hitting like crazy in San Diego.
He had a bad postseason.
But he's had an amazing 3 years with them.
But with the Padres, yes. And every time I see him do something too, I think to myself, Yankees could have had him.
Corey Seager.
Yankees could have had him.
Seager. Didn't want
to see him in the World Series.
And my problem, which is the same, and this goes to the GM of them not getting these guys, is not. I'm not sitting here saying the Yankees should be out there acquiring every Hall of Famer imaginable, every All-Star should be on the Yankees. That's not what I'm saying.
They need to make better choices.
Better choices, and not even that. Do a due diligence on these players. What bothers me is the lack of hearing them in the news that they're interested in this player or not. They don't even talk to these guys. This is my point that I always go back on, and it still remains true. A regular Dodgers offseason would have been acquiring Giancarlo Stanton and then also being in on Bryce Harper. That they wouldn't have just given up. The Yankees gave up on Bryce Harper once they got Giancarlo Stanton. And listen, to me, I think the Yankees thought that Bryce Harper wanted $30-35 million a year. Bryce Harper signed for $25 in Philadelphia, which means that Harper and Stanton would have accounted for, less than $50 million in the luxury tax? That's worth it for 2 players, seeing that Juan Soto is about to cost you $60 million in luxury tax, and Aaron Judge cost you about $44 million in luxury tax. Those 2 players would have absolutely been worth it for that price. Also, not doing your due diligence on Bryce Harper. What if, and let me just play a scenario out there. What if Bryce Harper thought that next offseason, when he wasn't competing with Manny Machado in the free agent market, if he was the only guy available, he could have got more money if he's coming off a great year? And what if Bryce Harper thought playing in Yankee Stadium with that lefty porch, with that right field porch in Yankee Stadium, he could have hit 55, 60 home runs and increased his salary by, got $100 million extra on top of his contract, and thought, if you just give me one year in Yankee Stadium, watch the numbers I can do. If I win a World Series with the Yankees, which they could have done in 2018, if I hit 50 home runs, if I have 130 RBIs, if I have an all-time great year as a lefty power hitter in that short porch, what if I do all that? What would my salary look like? What if Bryce Harper decided, I'll sign a 1-year, $25 million deal with the Yankees just to see what it's like, and then hit free agency as a solo guy the next year? What if that was the case? You don't know that because you never inquired. Bryce Harper's dream was to be a Yankee. Do you know why Bryce Harper wore number 34 in Washington? Because 3 + 4 is 7. Do you know why he wears number 7 in Philadelphia?
Because he's allowed to, because it's not retired.
Well, that, but also because Mickey Mantle's his favorite player of all time.
Right.
He wanted to be a New York Yankee. He grew up a New York Yankee fan. When a player like that wants to play for your team, you go out and acquire him. And again, you don't know that he wasn't going to take a 1-year deal to come here. Was it likely? Probably not, because Scott Boras is his agent and he wanted to take a 10-year deal. I'm not saying he was going to take a 1-year deal, but you don't know that because you didn't inquire. You didn't reach out.
That's the most annoying thing about it. It's like the Yankees want to seem mysterious. They don't want to play their cards. Like, they don't want to show their cards and, let people know what they're doing. But that's also to their detriment because it makes the players feel like they don't want them. And
yes.
What are you doing?
And instead, you're rolling out the red carpet for guys like Patrick Corbin when they walk in with a giant sign up in the Bronx saying, "Welcome to New York, Patrick Corbin," before he even signs.
Or Yamamoto giving him jersey.
Little things like that make no sense. You don't know these little things until you it's just very frustrating. It is, because these players all could have been guys that fit on this team right now, that have been on this team right now, that they would have probably won a World Series by now if these guys were required. If Harper was on that 2018 team, did they beat the Red Sox? Maybe. They got a better shot. And to not be involved in these guys. Again, Freddie Freeman should be on first base instead of Anthony Rizzo. He should. These aren't hard, and I'm not blaming when they're in on a free agent like Yamamoto and he goes to the Dodgers. I'm not blaming on that. I don't think Ohtani was ever wanting to come here. So I'm not blaming it on that. You're going to miss out on guys. But when you're not involved in certain guys, and Stacey, to your point too, when you said that, they want to be mysterious. They want to be, here's the thing. That worked in 1970 when there weren't reporters in the clubhouse, when there weren't guys that had connections to the organization, when there weren't.
And when you were signing guys for like 10 million, 10 year, like Dave Winfield's big contract in 1981 was 10 years, $31 million. 10 years, $31 million. Not the same. All right, hold on.
This news gets out now.
Yeah. All right, we gotta go to the next segment, but we'll continue this, and then we'll also preview what could be the Yankees' last game of the season.
PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And unlike on other apps, PrizePicks has you against just the numbers, and it's all you do. You pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections to watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. I want to play PrizePicks alongside Drewski, Joe Budden, and MMA champ Sugar Sean O'Malley. You can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app and view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community each week. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals, they're fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quickly as 15 minutes. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code ONEWORD LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code ONEWORD LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game. And remember that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees.
One thing I want to bring up, because I put this comment, I starred it because I thought it was Daniel Hidalgo. Hidalgo. There we go. Thank you. My coffee has not kicked in. I woke up at 11 o'clock this morning. I just want to tell you all that. The Yankees wanted to be the smartest in the room, but every other front office seems to outsmart them all the time. Right. Because they're not moving on from Brian Cashman. Brian Cashman did a lot for this team, right? In the 90s and 2000s. We're in the 2020s. He's been in the Yankee organization since I was in high school as an intern. I am 50 years old. Okay. They need new blood. They do. They need, I don't know if they need to sweep everyone out of the front office, but they need to do something. Either they need to bring someone in to help him or just get rid of him altogether. But they won't, because the loyalty is there, because he's been there since George was there, and they're never going to get rid of him. And it's just going to be like this. The Yankees are going to be like this until Cashman retires, because it's not going to change.
He has the job until he doesn't want the job.
Right.
That's what it is.
And there's no hint of him ever giving this up.
Nope. No, it's not going to happen. He loves it here. They love him here. They look at him like another Steinbrenner. They do.
Yeah, they do. He's like part of the family.
He's going nowhere. He really isn't. And they're not going to open up the checkbook more than they already do. They're not going to. It's going to be a bleak offseason because they're going to go after Soto. I think Soto stays. I don't think he's gone. I don't think people were texting me this morning, and I completely disagree with this. If they get swept in the World Series, it does not change Soto's mind. I think Soto's here for the long haul. I really do. I think getting to the World Series, seeing what the playoffs are like in the Bronx, and I think them getting swept makes Cashman, or Steinbrenner, I guess you should say, makes him pursue Soto even harder. Makes him make sure
because
Soto definitely.
I think he's relieved that they're going to get swept, and then he'll think he doesn't have to pursue Soto.
No, I think for Steinbrenner, I think losing in the World Series in an embarrassing fashion, getting swept, I think that makes you more desperate. So I think that.
See, I don't see it, because they got swept in 2022. They come out in 2023. They have an awful season. They do this fake audit, which we still don't know what they found in that audit. Did the audit tell them, oh, let's trade for Juan Soto? No. Maybe that's what it did, and that's why it happened. But here we go again, and I'll say it again. It would be one thing if this team fought in the playoffs, in the series that they get to where they get eliminated, because they'll have like a good first round, they'll have a good wild card game, and then they lose in awful fashion. I would like for them to lose in a competitive way. I'm sick and tired of being embarrassed I'm embarrassed to be a Yankee fan during the playoffs because fans of other teams have the right to make fun of our team right now because they are terrible, minus the bullpen. Bullpen guys, nice job. Really nice job. Starters, Cole, yes. Rodon, the one bad inning, and sorry about your blister. Clark Schmidt, sorry, gutless. You were gutless last night. That was a gutless performance. You can't come out in Game 3 of the World Series when your team is down 0-2 and do what you did. Aaron Boone, why are you starting Jose Trevino? He's the one who called that pitch to Freddie Freeman. You don't have a scouting report on Freddie Freeman, who's hit like 5 home runs in 5 consecutive World Series games, all basically in the same spot. You served him cookies on a platter.
Yep.
3 times. What are you doing?
On a 1 and 2 count, you had 3 pitches to play with, and they went with a fastball on the inside part of the plate where he crushes it. I mean, like anyone knew that was the wrong location, I was saying in the stands.
Our team is in the World Series and we're screaming. We're screaming like we did in July and June when they were terrible. We did this same performance on this show because we were so angry with them. And our team is in the World Series for the first time in 15 years. And look at me. The pink light is not making my face red. My anger is making my face red.
Yeah. Thank God Fat Joe performed, though. That was electric. That really got the crowd going. The rest of the experience of the game, too, I will say, again, crowd was full a half hour before the festivities even started. I mean, the crowd was legitimate. You couldn't move in the stadium.
Considering the prices, I'm shocked because...
Yeah. Speaking of prices, ticket prices were very high. If you want to get to a World Series game, if it's a dream of yours to go to a funeral for $500, you can. The tickets are very cheap online right now.
Yeah, and it will be a funeral. Yeah.
Parking did not go up, believe it or not. I parked in the same lot I always park in for the regular season, $55 like it normally is. So surprised the parking did not go up in price. Food beverage concessions did not go up. The line to get in the building was not crazy. Normal line to get in the building. So everything was running efficiently. Derek Jeter got a huge ovation when he threw out the first pitch. And I thought that was a great move by the Yankees organization to A, have Derek Jeter out there, and B, have the Bob Shepard voice introduce him, which is what they did.
Well,
that was brilliant.
That's his thing. He doesn't want anyone ever announcing him.
But that got the crowd going. The crowd was going absolutely crazy when he walked out, when he threw the pitch, and when the Bob Shepard voice, when they said Yankee,
and his kids were so excited.
when they said Yankee fans, please give a warm welcome to, and then it stopped and it said number two, the captain. Like, I mean, that is Derek just Jeter. The place blew up, and then Jeter walked out through the pitch, gave the wave. Beautiful. The place was going absolutely crazy. The bleacher creatures are doing a Derek Jeter chant. It was unbelievable.
And then Clark Schmidt serves a cookie to Freddie Freeman, and it all goes down the drain.
Exactly. And again, like, that's my point is Freddie Freeman a strikeout artist? Absolutely not. He doesn't strike out a lot at all.
No.
When you have Ohtani's the guy on first base, where, again, he's not going to dive into second base or third base.
He was like literally holding his shoulder up.
Yeah, he was useless in the game. He was. Yes. He couldn't swing. He couldn't turn on that bat. I don't know. Again, I also don't know why Ohtani was given 4 balls.
Yeah, how do you walk Ohtani?
How do you walk? Like I said it on the pregame show yesterday. Throw fastballs up in the zone and dare him to turn on one. He can't. He doesn't have a shoulder. Dare him to turn on the ball. Instead, it's like the Yankees went into that game thinking, oh, the Dodgers, he's faking that injury. He's trying to. If Ohtani wants to hit a 700-foot home run off of you, he can. He's that good, okay? He doesn't need to fake an injury to get you to let up and give him a pitch over the middle of the plate.
Right.
Throw a fastball at 97 miles an hour and dare him to hit it. For some reason, he's walked on 4 pitches to start the game. Like the Yankees maybe thought that the Dodgers were lying about the injury, even though we saw him walk off the field and be in pain. And also, the Yankees have a medical staff themselves. They have a medical staff themselves. Like, ask your medical guys. Is he hurt?
I don't know if they thought he was lying. I think it was.
But then how could you throw 4 balls? How could you not? I would throw one right down the middle of the plate and dare him to turn on it. He couldn't swing all night. He took one swing the entire night.
But I don't know if it's gamesmanship. Like, I said it on yesterday's show. Like, why weren't the Yankees bunting all over Curt Schilling when he had his ankle injury? Oh, because it's gamesmanship. Who cares about gamesmanship when you're in the World Series and fighting for gamesmanship in the ALCS 20 years ago? But right now, gamesmanship in the World Series. No, you attack. You attack the opposing hitters. If they're going to put him in the lineup when he's hurt, who cares? Then go after him.
Is there gamesmanship in any other sport?
Not
Football,
really.
we know the left tackle's hurt. Where do you put your best defensive lineman? Against the backup left tackle. You don't change things up. That I think is ridiculous. But then walking Ohtani when you know Ohtani's not going to be diving headfirst into bases, right?
Yeah.
So when Freeman has a 1-2 count in that spot, and you have 3 pitches to play with, why are you not throwing a ball out of the zone? Or if you're going to give him a fastball, put it up in the zone and make Freeman catch up to it. To put one low and inside is just like the one play. That's the same location that he hit a moonshot. That ball in game 1 still hasn't landed. That's the same location.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I can't. Who thought that was a good idea? It's just, game 1 is still going to be the game that still frustrates me as much as the Milwaukee game does in June earlier this year.
Oh, the game 1 is going to frustrate me
for years
until
that's the series.
If I make it to be an old person in a nursing home and I'm 95 years old and I still have my long-term memory, I'm going to think about that game. Yep. I'm going to think about that game.
And I don't know how things end here for Aaron Boone. I don't think they end this year. Quite frankly, I don't think they end anytime soon, to be honest with you. They don't end until he has a disastrous season. And if last year wasn't that season, then I don't know what is.
Right.
The Yankees always have enough talent to be good enough.
Right. The Yankees you'll never see a team like the 1990 team. You'll never see them bottom out. We always say it. They're never going to have a full rebuild. They're never going to be bad enough to be under 500. They'll be right at 500, just above 500 within a few games of 500. You will never see this Yankee team just completely fall off. It'll never happen. So in that way, they won't get rid of him.
No. Which is a problem. He does everything they want. The comments after the game, I mean, I know we're going to complain about it forever and it's going to keep going on. I can't stop being frustrated about it, though. I don't want to hear how, even after last night's game, he liked the send on Giancarlo Stanton. He liked every move was good. Every move is good. Everything is positivity. Why? No one else in baseball history has been like that. I guess we'll ask that question too, Stacey. Not that it matters that much, but did you like the Stanton send there?
No.
I don't have a problem with either side of it. I get not sending him because the runner had the fielder had the ball and you're daring Teoscar to make a play. And Stanton's not fast. I do feel like on the flip side though, knowing that the Yankees aren't hitting and you needed to get a run on the board there and there were 2 outs, I don't hate the send. You basically told and Stanton wasn't running poorly. You basically told Teoscar make a perfect throw, and he did.
Right. Yeah,
he did. I think on both sides of that one, I really don't. I don't mind either one.
So game 4, Luis Gil against. It was TBD an hour ago. I'm assuming it's still TBD. Let's just
probably. I would think it's going to be Ryan Brazier because they usually go with him as an opener.
Yeah, it's still TBD. We'll see.
Yeah, but thank God we told them Luis Gil was starting 3 days ago.
I mean, not that does it matter? Because again, the problem hasn't really been the pitching. It's been the offense because they had how many innings to chip away last night and they didn't. And I will say that call against Gleyber, it wasn't egregiously bad, but it was bad enough to where that really felt like a dagger because they really could have gotten something. It was up. It was up. And even like reporters were like, wow, what a call, like in that situation. But if you know that ump is going to call those pitches, you have to swing at them because he was doing
There were people. So what's weird is there were people in the bleachers complaining about Gleyber in that last at bat saying that, oh, he needs to get the bat off his shoulders. I disagreed completely. I think the strategy up there was do not swing. Mm-hmm. Like until there's 2 strikes you have to protect, do not swing. Here's why. Gleyber could run into one there and hit one to the track, right? Mm-hmm. That ball gets caught. It doesn't matter. Like you wanted to do everything imaginable to ensure that Juan Soto got in at bat. So I don't have a problem with the strategy in that bat. I don't, and he almost got walked. He did. Like he got it to 2-2. Like I don't hate that at bat at all, especially with how good Glaber's been, with how good that he's seen the strike zone. I didn't hate that at bat at all.
Should have been 3-2. Shouldn't have struck out. That was so irritating because that could have changed the game. that at bat right there. It did. I mean, it changed the game from being hopeful to being like, okay, they're going to lose.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that hopeful at that point anyway, to be honest with you. But, you know, I get what you're saying.
I don't know. I felt like they keep doing this where they keep showing up in the later innings. And I was hoping at home that they would show up in the later innings and then kind of like do something. I don't know. Maybe
Can I ask this too? I don't think you're this way, but I wonder how many people in the chat are. But the dopes who leave in the 8th inning or the 7th inning, how much traffic are you really beating? Like the stadium started filing out. How much traffic are you seriously beating at that time where you got to
people
get out
always
of the
make fun
building
of
now?
everyone in LA for doing that. They make fun of people in LA for showing up in the 3rd inning and leaving in the 6th inning.
There wasn't that many LA fans that were there. New York was doing it. I
Yeah.
don't get it. What are you doing? It made no sense to me at all. You're not beating that. How come? What are you getting home 20 minutes earlier?
Yeah.
It made no sense to me at all to get out of there. And then the people that are walking out in the 9th inning, just stay and watch the final pitch. Like I don't get it. Like root your team on. Like we've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple games like that where we met in the Great Hall to get ahead of everyone getting to the train because it was a busy game. So we watched the end of the game in the Great Hall, but we didn't leave the stadium. We were just watching. That was Brett Gardner and Mike Ford going. I think it was back to back to tie the game and then walk off against the A's in September of 2019. Maybe COVID ruined everything. It seemed good in 2019 until, the walk-off in Houston. But I kid. It's Aaron Boone. He's never going to, I've said it for 3 years. If you've watched the show, I've hosted it for 6. I've been saying it for at least 3 seasons. This team is never going to win with Aaron Boone as their manager. I will say it until I'm blue in the face. I can't change my light to blue, but until I'm blue in the face, they're never going to win with him as manager. So thank you guys for being here. There's over 300 people watching us right now at noon, or well, it was noon, almost 12:45 on a Tuesday, because the Yankees are just making us all sad and mad and every other bad adjective. No good adjectives here and no good emotions here. We're just feeling really awful. Good Lord, what? I feel bad for the fans that spent $12,000 on World Series tickets to watch this team play. Well, I mean,
some people did. I can't justify that, but some people did.
That is, yeah, no, we were talking about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys that they acquired. It's
constant
true.
Upgrades.
Yeah, like just constant. And the Yankees just don't do that. And it's really irritating. But we'll save that for another show because we're going to have plenty to talk about in the offseason, which might be sooner rather than later. So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. Now go check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Sully has the Fall Classic covered for you every single day, just like we do. The link to Locked On MLB is in the description, so you don't need to search. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And make sure you check out the Locked On Yankees postcast right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed, audio, as well as streaming on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel. You get rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast. So thank you for joining us for this very angry edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you after the funeral.